Welcome to the CISO Daily Update.
Hacker wipes 13,000 devices after breaching classroom management platform. A hacker breached classroom management platform Mobile Guardian, wiping data from at least 13,000 student devices worldwide. The August 4, 2024 incident affected North American, European, and Singaporean instances, resulting in the remote wiping of iPads and Chromebooks. Mobile Guardian has suspended services, but no data access or exfiltration was found. Singapore's Ministry of Education reported 13,000 students from 26 secondary schools were impacted. The government removed the app from all student devices and is working to restore the affected ones. Mobile Guardian's full global impact remains under investigation. Calibrated Healthcare suffers data breach, patient information compromised. Calibrated Healthcare reported a data breach affecting names, social security numbers, birth dates, medical diagnoses, health insurance details, and driver's license numbers. The breach occurred between February 25th to 26th and was detected on February 26th, 2024. Calibrated is notifying affected individuals and offering 12 to 24 months of free credit monitoring and identity protection. Affected individuals are urged to monitor their financial accounts and credit reports and to consider instituting fraud alerts or credit freezes. Nonprofit blood center OneBlood recovering from crippling ransomware attack. A ransomware attack hit OneBlood, a major nonprofit blood donation service, on July 29, 2024. The attack crippled the organization's IT systems, forcing it to rely on manual processes for collecting, testing, and distributing blood to over 250 hospitals. Despite the setback, OneBlood maintained critical services at a reduced capacity, ensuring a continued supply of life-saving blood to urgent patients. As of August 6th, the organization was still recovering, with critical software systems gradually coming back online after re-verification. OneBlood is transitioning back to an automated production environment while continuing manual blood product labeling and slowly reintroducing electronic donor registration. AI-fueled phishing scams raise alarm ahead of U.S. presidential election. Bolster's research revealed 24 nation-state groups, mainly from China, Russia, and Iran, exploiting political tensions to interfere with the 2024 U.S. presidential election through AI-driven phishing scams. Phishing attacks have nearly doubled, with a daily average of over 45,000 malicious sites in May. Stolen voter data sold on the dark web enables identity theft and voter fraud. The influx of election-themed spam undermines trust in legitimate communications, and even U.S. military and government email accounts are being targeted and sold to facilitate deceptive schemes. Illinois relaxes biometric privacy law so Snafus won't cost businesses billions. Illinois updated its Biometric Information Privacy Act to reduce penalties for breaches. The revised law still covers biometric data, but now treats multiple instances of data sharing as a single violation so that potential fines for businesses are decreased. Critics argue this change lowers damages and settlement values for plaintiffs, while supporters view it as a necessary adjustment to avoid stifling innovation. The amendment aims to balance privacy concerns with practical business considerations, though some advocate for a federal privacy law to preempt state regulations like BIPA. FTC settles for $12 million, with scammers operating $213 million pyramid scheme. The FTC settled for $12 million, with scammers behind a $213 million credit repair pyramid scheme run by Financial Education Services. The scheme preyed on consumers with low credit scores, offering false promises of credit repair and recruiting them to sell services. Despite the settlement amount, the FTC's initial estimate of the defendants' revenues was $467 million. The settlement imposes restrictions on the defendants, including bans on credit repair services and multi-level marketing, and requires them to pay financial penalties and turn over assets. Google warns of an actively exploited Android kernel flaw. Google fixed a high-severity Android kernel vulnerability, CVE 2024-36971, which was actively being exploited. Discovered by Clement Lacine from Google's Threat Analysis Group, the flaw allows remote code execution and is suspected of limited, targeted exploitation. The August 2024 Android Security Bulletin addressed 47 vulnerabilities across various components. Previously, Google reported another zero-day CVE 2024-32896 affecting Pixel firmware. Users are advised to update to the latest security patches to mitigate these risks. CISA adds Microsoft COM for Windows bug to its known exploited vulnerabilities catalog. CISA added a critical Microsoft COM for Windows vulnerability, CVE 2018-0824, to its known exploited vulnerabilities catalog, With a CVSS score of 7.5, this deserialization of untrusted data flaws allows remote code execution when Windows fails to properly handle serialized objects. Attackers can exploit this by tricking users into opening specially crafted files or visiting malicious websites. The vulnerability has been linked to recent attacks by the China-linked APT41 group on a Taiwanese government-affiliated research institute where it was used for local privilege escalation. CISA's addition of this flaw to the KEV catalog shows its active exploitation in the wild. Federal agencies are mandated to patch this vulnerability by August 26, 2024, per Binding Operational Directive 2201. Western Digital's WD Discovery app flaw allows code execution. Western Digital's WD Discovery app has a high-severity vulnerability, CVE 2024-22169, with a CVSS score of 7.1 that enables code execution due to unsafe Node.js settings. Malicious applications with standard user permissions can exploit this flaw. The issue affects all versions before 5.0.589 on Windows and Mac OS. Western Digital advises users to upgrade to version 5.0.589 or later to address the vulnerability, which involves disabling certain features in Electron. Jfrog Artifactory flaw. Let attackers poison artifact caches. Jfrog Artifactory has a critical vulnerability, CVE 2024-6915, that allows attackers to poison artifact caches due to improper input validation, CWE 20. This flaw affects versions before 7.90.6, 7.84.20, 7.77.14, 7.71.23, 7.68.22, 7.63.22, 7.59.23, and 7.55.18. Users should upgrade to the latest patched versions. Cloud environments have been updated, but on-premise edge instances require manual updates. To mitigate risks, it is advised to disable anonymous access or restrict deploy cache permissions for anonymous accounts. 99% of Global 2000 firms have recently breached vendors. According to Security Scorecard, 99% of the Global 2000 firms have vendors that suffered recent breaches. The report covers Q4 2022 to Q1 2024, revealing that 20% of vendors were breached in the past 15 months, with some firms having up to 50 or more breached vendors. These breaches cost 17 times more to remediate than first-party breaches and pose concentration risks due to reliance on widely deployed technologies. To mitigate these risks, companies are advised to continuously monitor their external attack surface, identify single points of failure, and automatically detect use of new vendors. Ransom payments surge. Organizations pay average of $2.5 million. ExtraHop's Black Hat USA report reveals that most organizations pay ransoms with an average of $2.5 million per incident in 2023. The government sector and large organizations which have more than 5,000 employees are particularly impacted, often paying upwards of $25 million and $4 million respectively. The report highlights increasing ransomware activity, with 22% of organizations seeing it as the biggest risk. Geography affects perceived risk, with German firms most concerned. Email attacks skyrocket 293%. Email attacks surged by 293% in the first half of 2024, with ransomware detections also increasing by 32% from Q4 2023 to Q1 2024, according to Acronis. SMBs in government and healthcare remain prime targets, with 3 ransomware groups, Lockbit, Blackbasta, and Play, responsible for 35% of attacks. MSPs faced consistent attacks, primarily through phishing and social engineering. The report highlights the rise of AI and cyber threats, with AI-generated and AI-enabled malware increasingly prevalent. Organizations saw a 47% rise in email attacks and a 25% increase in email volume. CVEs surged 30% in 2024, only 0.91% weaponized. The number of reported CVEs surged by 30% to 22,254 in H1 2024, though only 0.91% were weaponized according to Qualys. Despite the low percentage, weaponized CVEs pose severe risks and are often exploited through ransomware. The weaponization of older CVEs rose by 10%. Public-facing applications and remote services are primary attack vectors. Ransomware remains significant, with notable vulnerabilities from Avanti. Qualys stresses the importance of integrating threat intelligence, prioritizing actively exploited vulnerabilities, and maintaining diligent patch management to mitigate risks. 17.8 million phishing emails detected in first half of 2024. Darktrace researchers detected 17.8 million phishing emails from December 2023 to July 2024. The report was released at Black Hat USA, noting that information-stealing malware made up 29% of threats, with Trojans and rats also being significant. Despite security advancements, 62% of phishing emails bypassed DMARC checks and 56% evaded all security layers. Attackers use legitimate services like Dropbox and Slack to evade detection.
Thanks for listening. Remember to subscribe to our newsletter at CISOheadlines.com. Until next time, stay curious.